Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Super Deluxe Gamescast. It is Thursday. What's today's date? I don't know. Whatever. It's
November
a Thursday.
9th. It is a Thursday, if you can believe it.
We are 6 days away from my birthday. All of you better send me fucking liquor.
Oh, dude, are you turning 18?
Fuck yeah, bro.
More importantly, we're 1 week away from Super Mario RPG Remake. So
I think CJ's more important, but
I see your true colors, John. I see your true colors there, John. I remember that.
So we got a really cool. So it's been a really interesting week, and we've got a lot planned this week. Not just the podcast tonight, but also Dave Jones, the voice actor for Halsin from Baldur's Gate 3, will be recording with us on Saturday morning, which is really cool, and that'll be the second member of the cast that we have.
I'm so bummed I missed out on Sam.
Well, you're gonna get Halsin, and you're gonna get
somebody else potentially that you'll be very excited about, but. We got to keep that one quiet for now.
But for right now, in the present, we're live here, and we have a very cool guest, Brenden Groom from the Pass the Controller podcast, which I've listened to several times, and I myself am a big fan of. I do want to point out that I still have the best beard on the podcast. Brenden, your beard game is strong.
Mm-hmm.
It's powerful. You have more work to do though before you reach this level. So
John's like 60. So
I can mute you.
To that point,
I can mute you at any time, John.
The thing is, it comes with age. You know what I'm saying? John, John's the oldest man I know. It's like obviously he
oh my God. Oldest man you know.
So obviously,
trimmed down to come on today as a sign of respect. I didn't want to have a full bad boy on here.
I really appreciate that.
John's like a wild animal. You can't look him in the eye or anything.
Yeah. It's a real you bow to no one moment,
I know. Brenden, for anybody, for people in chat and people who are going to be listening later on Spotify and whatnot, who are you and what is Pass the Controller?
I am, as John said, I am Brenden Groom. I don't know. We've been doing Pass the Controller for too long at this point. 13 years, something.
I was gonna say you were doing it and active and well established when I first jumped into like gaming podcasting many years ago. So yeah.
So we've been around, doing the thing. We like to focus on indie games whenever we can, just to platform, champion those things. But we cover everything and get involved with anything under nerd culture. But I don't know. In a post-Elon Twitter, normally I'd be like, plug this, whatever, but I'm like so checked out.
It's not fucking helping.
Yeah.
I find that ever since Elon took a big fat dump right into Twitter's ear, like my reach has like significantly been reduced anyway. So.
Which has sucked for all of our like charity stuff, right? Like that's I think where we've noticed it the most is like we're having to fight hard to get the same reach for like charity fundraising. And so we're a lot of other good folks in the space that I've noticed. So it's
not just us by a long shot.
It really is kind of across the board because I do a lot of charity stuff too, and a lot of the people that we all kind of cross over with all seem to do charity stuff throughout the year. And yeah, definitely the more recent stuff has taken a hit. Though I think all y'all had a pretty successful one last weekend, 2 weekends ago.
So like 2-3 weekends ago, we raised like almost $2,500 for the Trans Empowerment Project. That was pretty good. We did do Extra Life last weekend, and that was not so good. That was only like $200, but but it's $200 to a children's hospital.
I was gonna fucking give you a shout out, and you ruined it for me. I hate it.
No one is allowed to compliment me. That's not how this works.
You know what I said to Derek? I was like,
very Gemini of you.
That those fucking children didn't have before you started streaming. So
that's fair.
And at the end of the day,
I said it was fair, Derek. It's fair because I said it was.
I'm a big proponent of, when you're doing that type of stuff, the awareness is, I don't want to say just as important as the money, because obviously the money can do a lot more, but just more people talking about stuff and getting engaged with it. If you can get one more person interested or involved or aware of, that's that's one more person fighting for the cause. So, but I don't know. We do stuff. I do things. You can follow me if you want or don't. I don't care. We're not here for me. We're here for
none of this fucking matters anymore
right now. No, go follow Brenden. He's a really cool dude, and very, very glad to have you here on the podcast. So
I'm happy to be here,
especially for a fun show coming up. I think.
I think so too. All right. So with all that out of the way, guys, what have we been playing this week? Don't start with me, because I'm just gonna say I'm playing Star Ocean 2. That's what I've been playing.
So you just started with you. Okay.
Although
let's start with CJ, because one of the big things he's been playing is one I've also been playing. So
I did play Cookie.
Wait, let me go first then.
Okay, Brett.
Okay.
Because I started replaying Alan Wake, the first one, the remastered one. When I beat the first chapter, I haven't got a chance to play again yet.
What, do you want like a fucking trophy or something, Brett? You beat the first chapter.
You get one. You get one for beating.
No, that just means I committed.
John.
It's not like I put the game in and I was like, I don't want to fucking do this anymore. I actually plugged through and did something, John.
I'm gonna DM Vicky to put John in timeout and don't let this shit.
Oh my god.
Don't let this.
Right now, Brittany's texting Vicky like, "Get your fucking asshole husband and corral."
He's the worst.
John, why don't you respect women, dude?
Oh,
hell yeah! Nice podcast up.
I was in the military.
Anyway, so I've been playing the first Alan Wake again because I've heard such good things about Alan Wake 2. I was not like, I feel like the games that are surprising me most this year are games that I'm just not excited for, and then they end up being my favorite, like Baldur's Gate. And so I'm playing through the first one, and it's really fun. I've played it before, but I wanted to replay it to get myself reacquainted with the world and the characters and everything, because I don't remember shit. I don't remember what that game's about. I just remember there's like an old lady and she's creepy. And yeah, it's been really fun because it's fun going through a game that you've played so long ago and then getting like all those flashbacks of memories. Like you're doing a part and you're like, oh, I remember this, or like you pick up something and you're like, I remember this. It's like it's really cool. And I haven't had that experience in a while, so I'm enjoying it. It's good. Y'all can talk about Alan Wake now.
Yeah, that's part of what's coming. That's a good
segue. But yeah, so I finished Alan Wake Remastered.
That's your first time playing Alan Wake, right?
My first time playing a Remedy game.
Whoa, okay.
Never even played the first two Max Payne, because I played Max Payne 3.
I mean, you're like
gonna love those remakes, man.
Oh yeah.
I'm so excited for those remakes. I'm so fucking excited for those remakes. So I played Remastered, and I beat it, and I played the two DLCs. Didn't get around to American Nightmare because I'm not gonna pay for a 360 game right now. But my summation of Alan Wake, and I wrote about it on Twitter. It's like, it's a fascinating like little experiment, because you could tell like they were so compromised in what they wanted to do. Like it started life with some weird open world survival horror like mishmash. Then it kind of like it became this weird hybrid. Like, all right, we're gonna keep the levels, but we're gonna like make them linear, and then we'll find a way to like do whatever we wanted in between. I'll start with like my weird complaints. The game's incredibly messy to like actually play. Its gameplay gets really grating after a while. That weird flashlight shield thing gets really fucking annoying. It plays like a bad.
It does. After the first chapter, I was like,
oh my god! Like it plays like fucking.
And it gets worse. I know it gets worse.
My god! Oh my god! It plays. So I played it on easy.
I've never heard someone say plays like Luigi's Mansion is an insult.
But no, because this game plays like a bad Luigi's Mansion, bro. Fuck that.
He's not wrong.
Oh my god! Like it's like charming because it's like again contextualizing it and with the story, it rules. You're not using like traditional weapons, using a flashlight. That's a really cool twist. Problem is, you're shining your light at these fucking things. Some of them can fucking cover their eyes, so it's fucking useless. You're just there like, all right, I'm just shooting at it. I'm playing on easy, so it's even more like repetitive. But the actual writing is like impact. Like, man, wow. There's some stuff here that like, it's in that Mafia 3 camp where it's like, sure, the gameplay is kind of repetitive and dull, but the writing is so mature and so above whatever else, what any other like AAA prestige title is doing, right? Like half, if not all of the Sony like flagship titles like can never reach a level of like this sort of like, kind of dialogue, kind of writing, the kind of questions that it asks about like, what does it mean to like write? What does it mean to like have a relationship with fiction? What does it mean to like put stuff out there? Like, how do you do all this? You know, like what are you doing? Like, how do you leave your mark in a world where it's so much easier to like consume rather than create? And like that was like everything I had like taken with me at the end of it. I love the use of music, which is very like rare in games. Diegetic music is like it's really hard to pull off. The best examples are like that one scene in GTA 5 where Michael's listening to the Phil Collins song by his pool. The bit in Mafia 3 in the beginning where they're playing Hold On I'm Coming by Sam and Dave, like over the documentary stuff. This one uses music in such a cool way. I freaked out when I heard In Dreams by Roy Orbison, because it reminded me of Blue Velvet, because I'm thinking of the scene in Blue Velvet where they're singing it. So I walked away like thinking like this is a really fascinating game, and it's a shame that it took me so long to play it. Because this is, everyone was right. This is like the most like up my alley like any story driven game has been, right? So I started Alan Wake 2. I finished the first chapter. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
You
back
want a fucking
levels.
medal or something, CJ, for beating the first chapter?
Yeah, I know. I'm waiting for John to fucking give me a backhanded ass compliment. Anyway,
I'm rolling with it.
Yeah.
You're done. We've already piled on it too much. No, but it's like that first chapter, incredible stuff. It opens in a really like dark and like insane way, and it just goes all over the place. I compared it to like, you know, when you like binge watch a season of a show and then you immediately start the second season and you're trying to see what the status quo is. Like, you know, like Adventure Brothers, where everything kind of changes in season in the subsequent seasons, and it doesn't care. It does not. It has no regard for whether or not you've kept up. It's just like, fuck it. You're either with it or you're you know, or you're against it. That's what this felt like. Gameplay feels a lot better. It reminds me a lot of the modern Resident Evil remakes. So it's like a lot more confident as a third person action game. Way scarier than the first game, but to the point where it's like, I'm just like doing like a mundane investigating, looking through houses, and the music keeps ramping up to like this really like uncomfortable level where I'm like, what's gonna happen, right? Like, is something gonna jump out at me? But I realize like it's not this kind of game, so I'm fine. I reach to the point where I'm supposed to get to in the story. Fucking jump scare screen flashes at me, and I pause it. I message Justin. I was like, this shit's overwhelming. I almost cried at a jump scare. I had to like pause it for a split second because I can't handle this game right now. I had nightmares. I had nightmares over like the fucking faces coming at me. But it's incredible. It's what I wanted. The live action stuff is great. The dialogue is so far and above. Like, what are other games even trying to do, right? What are we like? What's the standard after this, right? If within the first chapter, I'm like already blown away by like how impeccable everything is, like in terms of writing, in terms of atmosphere, in terms of like direction, in terms of just like even the gameplay, as simple as it is, there's so many improvements where it just feels good to play. What are we doing?
What are we doing, CJ? What the fuck?
I don't know. I'm excited. I'm very excited. And then before I go, I gotta shout this out. Every time I go talk to John, I'm always obsessed with some new tech. So this is, oh no, you can't see it because of the green screen. But
put it in front of your chest.
There we go. There it is.
There we go. There we go. Wakanda forever. Look, this is the 8-bit Ultimate. Great controller. I have it for my Switch. Oh my god, John, you're 100% right. This is the greatest thing in the entire world.
Yo, bookmark that. Fucking clip that.
Oh my, clip that. for John being right. Hey, I'll 100%. I'll endorse it. Great controller. I finally used my Switch in dock mode. Okay, I'm done. Alan Wake 2 is good. Alan Wake 2
I can go real quick. I don't have a whole lot. Yeah, obviously I've been playing Alan Wake 2. I'm in chapter 4, so I'm still not far in, but like CJ, you don't even know. You don't even know, man.
Everyone keeps telling me it's like, what is
I don't want to spend a
Justin
ton of time on Alan Wake because
God.
like you just killed it, like explaining what I think is special about the first game and the feeling of stepping into the second. But like you don't even know, man.
He doesn't even know, man.
The other thing I've been playing, we got a review code for The Invincible from 11-Bit Studios, who's the publisher. The Invincible's not a game that was originally on my radar, right? This is one where Finn was just like, hey, this is like a chance we've got. Can somebody take it? And I'm like, you know what? I'm usually, if I've got time, I'm down for like a smaller project, like an indie game that I've not, even heard about. Like, yeah, I'm in. Let's give it a shot. The Invincible is a So our actual review is live, and people can go listen to it. It's about 20 minutes. But it is what some people would derisively call a walking simulator. I do not consider that to be a bad thing, because I think of games like Firewatch and What Remains of Edith Finch as being like incredibly impactful experiences. But The Invincible is loosely based on a 1960s Polish sci-fi novel. You have crash landed on this alien planet that you were supposed to survey, and I can say so little about the story because
shit gets weird.
Yeah, shit gets real weird, and there's some great like hard sci-fi story twists that I really appreciate. You can tell that the developers have a lot of love not only for the original author and for the original novel, but for like 1950s and 1960s pulp sci-fi in general, because they really recreate that like 50s and 60s like sci-fi like futurism aesthetic of like weird clunky like screens and readouts and dials and instruments. Some of these devices and instrument panels look like something out of the old like original Lost in Space, right? There's so much imagery that looks like it comes from like the cover of an old 50s sci-fi novel, right?
Oof.
It's
very so I did the review with Derek and I looked it up. It's very like Lost in Space.
It's very striking. And like the story's good. The story's got some great beats and twists to it and moments that I find very impactful. It is a bit of a buggy experience at this point, and I'm really hoping that this small team, like a couple of bugs in particular were I can overlook a lot of stuff, but I ran into some really annoying shit in my time with the game. And I'm hoping that stuff can get patched because I think there is an interesting narrative underneath it all. And I think that there is, anytime you have like a small studio trying to punch that high above their weight class on something that the team is clearly very passionate about, in this case, like 50s and 60s, like hard pulp adventure sci-fi, which is something so unique. You just don't see anything that looks like this game aesthetically, that like it deserves some attention. So I would say look into The Invincible, maybe hang tight on it for right now and see if a couple of patches help clean it up some. But
Derek,
for like a 5 or 6 hour run through, it's a pretty good time.
I might have missed it, but did you bring up that one really annoying glitch?
I didn't want to get, listen to the full review, right? Go give us listens on podcast services. But like there's a couple of bugs that I think are major and annoying, and then there's some that are minor and you can probably overlook. But I mean, all of it's in the context of this being a small studio that I don't think had a ton of money, adapting a lesser known, at least here in America, sci-fi novel. And it's cool. So The Invincible is worth looking into.
Awesome. So there is something that I want to bring up.
Yeah.
And it's not something that I've been playing, but it is something that's coming out next week. And I know
Christ,
a few people,
John.
I know a few people who are using it, and it is the PlayStation Portal. All I'm going to say is expect very mixed reviews.
Hell yeah.
You know a couple people who've gone hands-on with it?
Yeah, I know a couple
because
people who have
it's
it right now who
like,
are reviewing.
Yeah.
Is there something wrong with it, or is it just because of the nature of it?
You probably can't say
because we know
much.
what it is, right? We know it doesn't play any games natively; it just streams them. So, like,
I'm not going to go that far, but what I will say is that I think you like based on what I've heard, you're going to hear some very, very mixed reviews for this.
The PlayStation Portal has no games. There we go.
Yeah. I mean, I expected that because like it doesn't play anything natively, and it's like pretty expensive. But
did you still pre-order? Do you still have yours pre-ordered, John? Or you're?
I do.
Okay.
You know what? I do. I'm going to keep it.
Gotcha.
Because
let me know how it is.
I will. The thing is that like I'll just echo what people I've talked to have said, and what I think we've all said. This thing should have had fucking Bluetooth. I don't understand why it doesn't.
It doesn't have Bluetooth?
It does not have Bluetooth.
It's to sell Sony's proprietary.
Right. It's the same
audio
reason you can't
technology.
use I can't use my good Bluetooth headphones with the PS5. Right. Like.
Yeah. Oh, and the earbuds are ass.
Yeah,
that's unfortunate because Sony makes some of the best like true wireless
really
earbuds
do.
in the industry. So
they really do. So, but again, I expect based on what I've heard, from about the final product, I expect very mixed reviews on this thing. I'm looking forward to actually getting it in my hand next Wednesday and talking about it on Thursday. So
yeah,
it is what it is, I guess. But yeah, anyway, that's all I wanted to say. That'll be my that's my section of the thing here. So do you want to go Brenden next?
Yeah, Brenden, what you been playing, bud?
I'm all over the place. So I also have started playing Alan Wake 2, and I'll keep the Alan Wake portion brief since we've talked a lot about Alan Wake. But I also just played Alan Wake Remastered for the first time. I played it originally when it came out. I just never finished it, or if I did, I don't remember the game. So I replayed it. I think I'm a Remedy sicko now because I played Quantum Break, and I'll say right now, that game takes some big swings. It connects in certain areas. You know, it falters a little bit, but if you end up liking Alan Wake 2, which I think you will, you should definitely play Control. Like 100% play Control.
Yeah,
thank you. Fucking thank you. Control is like one of my favorite games.
The problem is everyone told me to play it after Alan Wake Remastered, right? Because apparently it makes that transition a lot easier. But I'm like, I wanted to see what Alan was up to.
Yeah.
So that was my reasoning. But I haven't downloaded because I'm fully on board to get started as soon as I finish Alan Wake 2.
Yeah, I think it'll still hit in a lot of ways. There'll be some stuff probably from Alan Wake 2 that
there's already some stuff already like I figure like, okay, that sounds like something that would be a Control reference.
You were correct.
Like,
yeah.
Yes.
I mean, look, the ashtray maze is still going to blow your mind when you get to it one way or another.
Right. Yeah.
I was tripping balls.
Fantastic time with that. Derek, have you finished chapter 4 of
No, I have not yet.
Okay. Do you know anything? I have nothing about the game spoiled for me.
I intentionally watched no trailers for this because I was like, I'm sold. When you tell me they're making Alan Wake 2, like I'm in no matter what. So why don't I go in as blind as possible?
So after the request of some friends, they said, "Oh no, finish tonight." Like before this, get to Alan's chapter 4.
Yeah,
and that's a good place to stop after you beat that. It's gonna.
Fuck.
I'm off tomorrow, so I'm playing it all night.
And I hate scary games, and I don't think Alan Wake 1 is that scary, but Alan Wake 2 is fucking me up in a lot of different ways.
That's what I've heard. I can't wait.
I play Alan Wake because it's tame. Like everybody's saying the second one is scary, and I'm like, no.
Brit, I'm not even kidding. Again, that the shit fucking that first chapter is the fucking most terrifying thing ever.
This is something I've heard from literally everybody's played Alan. Because I played Alan Wake, the original, way back in the day. And I was like, this is eerie, like Twin Peaks eerie, but it's not scary.
I mean, this game, Alan Wake 2 is
legit fucking horror.
It's no Alien Isolation, but it's definitely got a foot much more firmly in the horror category.
Because the first game was an action adventure game. This is a survival horror game.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm probably a baby because I haven't played a lot of survival horror games. So I'm, it's saying I will probably pull up RE2 remake or something, and then
Yeah,
I'm a huge baby with scary games. So I think if I can get through it, I think you can do it, Britt. I believe.
Fucking love that shit.
Oh, thank you. I love that.
It's at least, and maybe it changes later in the game, but it's definitely a little more dread. You're kind of on edge of is something going to happen? I don't know, and it's a lot of, at least now, not, but that feeling of at any moment something is going to happen, kind of drives the point home. But the game is so atmospheric. It nails the music. The sound design is phenomenal. Just walking through the woods and you hear the leaves blow. I can't play it at night. That's why I'm maxed out tonight. After this, no more Alan Wake. That's a tomorrow during the day situation.
Pray for me tonight, guys.
And then
I say that I hate scary games, but I got almost all the way through Resident Evil 4 remake. And I'm not sure how the fuck I did that because I played it before. I knew it was coming. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. There we go. Okay.
Britt, what did you think of those caked up regenerators?
I don't want to talk about it. I don't like them.
John, we're not. You asked me the same thing, and I got to tell you, just because I'm pan doesn't mean I can be into the regenerators. I'm a very open-minded they, but
Derek,
not
Derek, come on, Derek.
that.
One day, I expect you to tweet a picture of like just that regenerator ass and being like, "Hear me out."
No, unlikely.
Smash or pass, Derek.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it, but I'm willing to 100% bet yes. Like I'll put money on this.
No.
Okay.
I also, real quick, before we move on from
Well, Brendan
Brenden,
has more, I think.
Oh, do you have more?
I'm just here. Whatever we want to do. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm vibing.
I just wanted to
Alan
compliment
Wake
your
was
setup,
not
man.
the only game, so.
Well, actually, I need to ask Brenden, what are you drinking?
I am drinking a 9-year Willet single barrel bourbon.
Ooh,
right now.
Willet's good. Willet's good. Good pick.
Ooh, not bad. I'm a whiskey bourbon man myself. So
Are you drinking
see.
bourbon right now?
Yeah.
me? Yeah, I am.
Me too.
Hey, look at this! Look at this shit.
What you
Look
got,
at-
Brett?
Derek, are you
Four
drinking
Roses.
that
The
Eagle
Four
Rare?
Roses, the classic.
Yeah, always.
Are you drinking that Eagle Rare?
Of course,
I
I'm
got you,
drinking
Derek?
that Eagle Rare, which
That's
thank you
right.
so much. So, Eagle Rare, this is a bit of an aside. Eagle Rare has long been my favorite bourbon under $50. The problem is, everyone figured out Eagle Rare is like way too fucking good. So now
No, it really is Eagle Rare.
it's in extremely high demand, but Buffalo Trace has not been able to ramp up production. And that's how bourbon works. It takes a long time for that sort of thing to hit. So now you can't find this anywhere. So John lotteried out and managed to get a hold of a bottle for a not obscene price and got that for me. And you're not buying my friendship. You don't have to. But despite that, I'm not going to turn down the gifts, my friend.
Just want to give you a little taste of home, buddy.
Good old Kentucky Gold.
I'm drinking my go-to, which is Brenden. I don't know if you're a Basil Hayden man, but I am, and I made myself a nice little old-fashioned.
The
Nice.
one night Jeff doesn't drink fucking bourbon.
I
We're all drinking it.
Jeff's like, man, I could go for a bottle of just Fireball whiskey right now.
Turn him on to the Elijah
But-
Craig during the get-together.
Brenden, did you have any more games you want to talk about this week, pal?
Yes. So Basil
Please.
Hayden is delicious. I love a good old fashioned. Like if I didn't quickly switch to bourbon before we started recording, I probably would have made an old fashioned.
Eric and Brittany will attest to the fact that I make a fucking slamming old fashioned.
I will attest to
yeah.
that too, because last year I had one every single night. I had one every single night.
Yeah, that's right. We made you go upstairs and fucking make us some.
Yeah. John, where's my fucking drink? Like, all
That's
right, I'm
right.
sorry, Jesus.
Anyway,
Anyway,
You should
Brenden,
apologize.
I'll keep it quick. I'll just say one more.
No, take
Unless
your time, dude.
have y'all talked about Jusant
No.
Mm-mm.
previously?
even know
or-
what that is.
I've been
So
super
good.
excited for that game, so I want to hear what you thought of it.
Yeah, it's I don't actually I think it's Don't Nod.
It's
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So it's like a very atmospheric, just like climbing game, but
kind of like Journey vibes, like that kind of like
yeah, I
Yeah.
can absolutely see this like I don't know out the gate if it's gonna have this type of fanfare, but I can see this being like a cult indie like or whatever Don't Nod game further out, but super relaxing. Not a lot of dialogue or anything else going on, no enemies and stuff like that. It's just puzzles and climbing. But there's, without like giving too much about what the game's story is about, you're basically going through this old, no one lives here anymore, this area. And, you can choose to not engage with the environment that way, but there's a lot of just like dialogue things you can pick. Well, reading things you can pick up, different like letters people left to other people, and because part of it is some people stayed there and some people left because they used all of the natural resources. So, and then eventually everyone left for whatever reason, they died or looked for a new place a new settlement.
This is hitting
But
a little close to home.
Yeah, it definitely has some interesting story beats kind of tucked in there if you seek out reading about these things. But otherwise, if you want to, if that's not your jam, I still think it's a good like climbing puzzle game. I think it had some, interesting biomes as it changes throughout. It's a quick game. You can probably beat it in like 4 hours. It's on Game Pass if you have access to that. So that's how I played it. But it was something that was at a showcase at some point this year, I think, and I was like, oh, that looks like my jam. I'd probably play that. So it was good. I enjoyed it. I recommend it if you have Game Pass. I think it's worth checking out.
That's my problem is I always wait for like the big titles and I never see like the little things and they're usually the best. Like Slay the Princess, Derek and I played that, and it's like
Fantastic
one of my
game.
favorite game. Yeah, one of my favorite games this year, and I would have never looked at it. Like,
I'm actually going to
Yeah.
start that before Super Mario RPG comes out next week, Brett.
Did you
What?
play,
You are
Brenden? Did you
interesting.
Slay the
did you
Princess.
play Season?
oh
A Letter to the Future?
No.
It's on my list and I have not played it
Okay.
yet. That came out this
Yeah.
year, right? January-ish?
Yeah, earlier
Yeah.
this year. I think the way you described Jusant, it reminds me a lot of like I think some of the reviews I read for Season almost said it might be too chill. Like I think the gameplay might not be as engaging. There's not really as many puzzles. It's more just exploration and kind of taking the stories. But that's quickly becoming one of my favorite genres. Is like here's a world. Like we're not going to give you a ton of cutscenes and like direct storytelling, but you can go
Yeah.
out and kind of figure out what happened. And it's a really good one. I think you might enjoy it.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to check it out then, bump it up my list. But Jusant's that same way. It's just like it has that if you want it. The controls, I think at first I thought the controls were janky, but it just kind of takes some getting used to because the way you climb is like the left trigger is your left hand and right trigger is your right. So it's kind of just once you get that flow of climbing, it makes a lot of sense and it works really well. But really, really cool, really charming. I'm a sucker for that. Like it's not cel shaded, but it's like faux cel shaded. It's very pastel.
I was gonna say it's very pastel colors all across,
yeah.
which I find
So-
lovely.
Yeah, it's just it works for the setting of the game and the tone, which is again like they don't have water anymore, and that's kind of the purpose of what's going on there. So really cool. Recommend it for sure.
Jeff.
Yeah.
What flight simulator or train simulator have you been playing this week?
I have been playing Flight Simulator. I'll get to that. Although at this point, I almost feel like I'm not playing a game.
No, we
So a
play
quick-
golf. That counts.
Yeah. So quick Starfield update. A new Starfield beta update was released for Steam. It did not fix any of the major issues with the game or the quest progression. So I'm still locked out of the main campaign. So I will wait another month or two, see if I can finish it.
Is that a
I haven't-
PC specific thing, or is that happening across
No,
the board?
there's a lot of as far as I know, the vast majority of the bugs are not platform specific. The one that impacted me was like there's basically a main quest that takes place in one of the major cities in the game, and it resets like on a technical level, I guess it resets the entire city to its default state. And because like in Bethesda games, you can have like an apartment and stuff with like all your items. So if you have the apartment in this city, everything you have in there will be deleted when you complete the main quest because it resets. It was like an oversight, I guess. And yeah, so it affects everyone, and it's a pretty big, like it's affecting a lot of people. But I guess I was unlucky because all my stuff is in there, and the way the game's set up with like you have weight limits on how much you can carry and encumbrance stuff. Like it would take probably 5 to 10 hours to move everything out of there one at a time to my ship to a different planet, go back, get it all. So it's like I can wait. It's fine. It's just a bummer because I was enjoying the game. But I'm sure they're working hard on it. You know, I'm not the calling out lazy devs. I'm not that kind of person. I'm sure
We
they're
know
working
you're
very
not.
hard and they want to get it fixed. It's just
We know you're not.
it's frustrating. You know, I was really enjoying the game, put 120 hours into it, and then I just had to stop dead in my tracks. So I went back to Flight Simulator, John. I have been playing Flight Simulator.
I fucking
And-
knew it.
That's
Some
my
exciting
boy.
news that no one will care about.
I've been
No,
enjoying your
hey,
screenshots
CJ,
you've
don't
been
fucking
posting in
hate
the
Jeff.
Discord.
Jeff.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not. I know.
Focus on
Hold
me. I
up. Of
care.
anyone, hold up. I am not laughing at Flight Simulator. I'm laughing at like his response to you, Jeff. You know better than anybody how much I appreciate any game where you man some sort of vehicle.
Yes.
All right.
At this point, I almost exclusively play games where you don't like walk on your feet. I feel like, but
So
CJ
real,
CJ number one SnowRunner fan.
I wish. I
my God.
wish.
I
I
played
wish-
SnowRunner early this year. It's so fucking good,
I
man.
need to play it. I gotta play. It's on my
It's
place.
the Dark Souls of simulators, man.
Dude, I
It's
need
unreal.
to play SnowRunner.
I spent an hour stuck in the mud one time. No, so I passed my my VATSIM entry course exam. So VATSIM has been around for 20 years. It's a virtual air traffic control network. So basically, it has probably I think over 10,000 like active members, and it replaces the in-game air traffic control in Flight Simulator with real people. So basically, when you take off, land, request clearance, you're talking to other real people online, and they're acting as real air traffic controllers. But to get in on this, because they take it quite seriously, and I get it, there's a lot of people on there, and it can be very stressful for the controllers. You have to have a very good knowledge of all the procedures and stuff like that. So it's like I put myself through a course this week, learning like approach charts and departure charts, and I thought I had a good understanding of the game, and I realized the first time I tried to do a flight, I'm not easily intimidated, by the way. I don't care what, I'm long past the point where I care what other people think of me, especially like in online games and stuff. I don't give a shit. But man, my first flight, when I like fucked it up so bad and one of the traffic controllers chewed me out because I flew my departure wrong. I cut off another aircraft. I overshot my taxiway. Like I wanted to cry. I felt like I got like yelled at by my mom when I was 5. Like it was fucking rough. But like, you know, I recomposed myself and I reviewed a couple things. I've done a couple flights since, and it's like, it's just so fun. Other than that, like everyone's been super friendly. And it's just really cool. Talking to other people, because like when I started playing Flight Simulator, it was just a curiosity, mostly about the technology behind it. It was like, hey, I saw this, like I dabbled with them back in the day. It was like Microsoft made the simulation of the Earth. That seems cool. Then I played it. I'm like, oh, this is like, it was during COVID when it came out. I'm like, man, I can't really go outside. Like this is a cool way to just explore the entire world. And it's just been interesting to like feel the progression in my brain. And then I got to a point where like, oh, I like switches and buttons, and like these cockpits have like 200 buttons, and I upgraded to like a real throttle, and like I've got a lot of tactile stuff. So it's like there's, I don't know, there's something satisfying about flicking buttons to like raise landing gear, and you get a little audio feedback, like the chunk when it comes up. And then like, you know, just programming stuff, like because I am, you know, I work in software obviously, so I think there's a certain part of like that, you know, programming things into the flight computer and stuff. It's just it's all a very satisfying loop, and I didn't expect it to happen. So this is just like, now I think I'm at the point where I actually almost enjoy the escapism or illusion of like being a pilot. And obviously, to be clear, I understand I could never fly a real plane, but you know, something like VATSIM just takes that
if
immersion
we're all in
to,
a room together and we're on a plane and it's about to crash, like you're the one that I'm going to be like,
fair.
Jeff, have at it.
That's
Your
fair.
dream come true.
I will do my best. And when I kill us all, I'm incredibly sorry, but I tried. But no, it's really cool. It just takes the immersion to another level. And I'm not a big multiplayer guy. I don't just, especially like, because most multiplayer I feel like is in like competitive games, right? And that's not, I don't want to be competitive. Like that's not how I want to wind down at the end of the day, is like stressing out or getting screamed at by a 13-year-old on Call of Duty. Like this is,
me,
you know, no problem with like
Party.
that's what people.
Or CJ. I mean,
Play Mario
Right, a
Party.
13-year-old.
You know, I'm the kind of person like when I first played Grand Theft Auto 3, I tried to like drive in the traffic and stop at all the red lights. Like that's just how my brain works. So this has really been scratching that itch. So
just like I don't want to have to listen to Fid tell me to suck it after an hour of Duck Game. So
yeah, exactly.
That game brings out the worst in us.
Can I say something real quick?
Mhm.
You know, listening to Jeff talk about Flight Simulator, like no bullshit, jokes aside, this is what video games are all about. Like being that passionate about something, about any game really, but like find a game that you because Jeff, how long have you been playing Flight Simulator now? Years.
Yeah, like basically consistently since 2020. So like 3 years. Yeah, for
3
sure.
years.
Mhm.
Find a fucking video game that you love like that, people. Like seriously, find a game that hits you the way that Flight Simulator hits Jeff. Jeff, I am fucking happy that you found a game that does that.
Well, and I've felt that like too. Like I hear people talk about their, whether it's movies or games, like people talk so passionately about them, like the way you talk about Final Fantasy VI. We joke, but like legitimately, we're all happy that that game means so much to you. And but I always kind of felt like it also sucks at the same time to like, you know, most of the time I play a game, I'm like, yeah, it was cool. Like, but like, you know, most of them have no impact on my life or anything. So it's been rewarding to find something like that comfort, right? That you can go back to on a rainy day or when you're feeling kind of down.
Been boulders
and
for me lately.
Yeah. We all need that in our life, right? So
Yeah.
That's basically it. I've played a tiny bit more Spider-Man. It's a good game. It's good. I have like I don't feel like I skip any thoughts
It's
on
Spider-Man.
With Spider-Man, you're swinging and you're webbing and you're fighting the guys and you're mashing square.
Like I'm surprised at how many people are like legit finishing the game. Like I don't mean just beating it. I mean like achievements like done, like
that shit.
dusted.
I know like 20 people that
what happened?
I know like 20 people that platinumed it in the first like week or two.
Oh, Cam, guess what? Yeah, but like Justin fucking platinumed it in like what, 4 days, 5 days?
Yeah.
I left the charity stream early. He had to head start on like fucking platinuming
Yeah, I gotta work, guys. No, we're
Zach,
joking. We
Zach like
Good in
finished
chat.
it in
uh
fucking.
I'm 30% according to the stats screen, so I got a ways to go. But it's good. I'm enjoying it. I'm finally getting to sink a bit of time into it and like just like let myself be immersed in the story. And it's picking up. I like obviously the performances are really good, but yeah, it's no Alan Wake, CJ. I'm sorry. I know it's
I'm sorry.
No, but look, listen, you and I, like, we were kind of in that, we're kind of in the same, like, wavelength when it comes to, I mean, dude, like, you're the only other person I know who's actually dedicated as much time to, like, GT7 as I have. You know what I'm saying? You understand, like, how nice it is to drive, like, a 94 Miata?
oh my god, I have been playing GT7 again. I fucking forgot.
Yo, Joel, real quick, I'm sorry to derail. Jeff, I've been playing so much WRC, and like I can't like drive without imagining someone sitting next to me giving me directions on where to turn in a fucking like as if I was in an actual rally race. Beautiful, I love it.
Okay. Well, we have to talk about Dirt Rally, but we can take this offline.
Yes, yes.
That's all I got.
I just want to point out, I was about to take a picture of that shit that Past Controller put in chat about Kingdom Hearts and tweet it and be like, "Is Cam gonna do anything about this?" And Cam was fucking already.
Cam
in
was
chat.
motherfucking summoned.
Like he fucking knew immediately. Like Cam, I've got this mental picture of Cam just like enjoying, I don't know, maybe some chicken katsu at a nice Japanese restaurant, and he's just and all of a sudden like the chopsticks just drop in slow motion. Because somewhere in the ether, somebody's talked some shit about Kingdom Hearts, and his pupils get real small, and then they get wide, like the fucking T-Rex in Jurassic Park, and he just reaches into his pocket and logs the fuck on, like, oh,
He's been summoned.
You know I love you,
Cam.
Cam.
Cam, that was perfect.
We
Fucking
all do.
Dude. Who has not gone?
That's all of us. So we can move
That's all
on
of
to
us.
our first
Oh no, Brent's
true
Yeah, let's do
news
it.
topic.
Let's do it.
I haven't gone yet.
The news.
Oh, did you not? I thought you started with Alan
I was
Wake.
the first one.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm drunk, so
I
you
don't
can't,
trust
like,
my
I was
memory.
trying
I'm-
to be concerned. I'm trying to be
But
an
I
ally.
talked about Alan Wake, so I figured that would like bake
trying to
in
be
there.
Yeah. I'm so tired. So our
right,
first and primary like news topic for the week. And this has been a relatively damn Derek, you hate women. You can't. I already pulled that on John once this podcast.
Cancel
all right.
him, Josh. It's time. Cancel him.
But this has been a relatively busy week, but the topic that I think a lot of us really wanted to hit on, this is a story in The Verge. Microsoft is bringing AI characters to Xbox. So what it is Microsoft is partnering with a firm called InWorld
It's
AI.
shit.
And the long and the short of it is that InWorld's AI systems are going to drive like AI generated like characters, dialogue, things like that in games. So the idea being that like in theory you be able to talk to a character and AI will have it spit dialogue back at you like a chat GPT, or using AI tools to quickly generate NPCs like on the fly in a town or something like that. Right.
So I want to quickly add before we get into a big, like, massive discussion about it.
Yeah.
The DreamWorks co-founder said the AI will cut costs of animation movies by 90%,
Yeah,
and that
that's- of course
fucking
that's what it's about.
sucks.
Yeah, it was
Well, you
bad.
guys like.
That
I want to go on Quibi
because you
right
know
now.
what-
You guys want to watch something?
You know what people's jobs are going to turn into is editing AI photos.
Yep.
And that fucking sucks.
So I'll say this, right? Because like we haven't really, I'm realizing we haven't talked a lot about AI on the show other than like the couple times we talked
Yeah,
with
for a fucking
actors.
reason, because fuck that.
Well, right.
I got thoughts too.
But
go there.
like I'm of the opinion that like there's a difference between AI being driven by a corporation as a way to like have fewer employees, right? Or to cut human driven work versus like a human artist using AI to develop like their first pass of work, right? Like I think what we saw with the writer strike is a perfect example that, Netflix cannot use AI to make a script, but if a writer wants to make their first draft with AI and clean it up and submit it, that's fine. Sure, I can't be too offended by that. But I've seen a couple of folks who apparently have a little bit of familiarity with in-world AI specifically, and other like ways that that's been shipped around behind the scenes. And, you know, it's not anything special. It's the same thing we're seeing out of a lot of AI like chatbots and a lot of AI like generated content where it's shallow and it makes mistakes and it's kind of obviously not the same quality as human written dialogue or human spoken voice. You know. So
The only thing I'm sorry.
No, please.
The only thing like I want to add to that, like to your point, is a lot of these AI simulators are basically based on stolen art.
Yeah,
that other people have done. And that shit fucking sucks. Because DeviantArt actually switched to they basically allowed everybody's art on the site to be used for AI programs. And I saw one post. This girl's picture that she drew was mirrored exactly by an AI art generator, and like it just. I feel so fucking bad for artists, man. Like, you know, it's kind of like, you know, we feel bad for like writers in the game industry. Like, I feel bad for artists in any kind of industry because it's so hard to make it as an artist already, and then to have things that not only steal your work but now they're stealing your job. Like, that fucking sucks, and I hate that AI is becoming a thing.
It's fun you bring up that, like, of course, you know, all this stuff is almost every AI model out there is built on stolen content. Right, it's scraped the internet for artwork and photographs and, you know, writing and stories, etc. I'm sure a lot of you saw there was a headline where I can't remember the executive or like what firm or whatever it was, but saying basically like, hey, if we actually have to stop using stolen content to train these AIs, if we actually have to pay for all of the content that goes into it, that eats up all the profit in AI as a business model. And it's like, yeah, no shit, I could have told you that.
Here's the really fucked up thing. Like, of all the years to unveil this, after 6,000 people have been laid off from this
6,100. We got to remember Ubisoft just happened.
That's right. Yeah. 6,100 people have been laid off this year, and the year is not over yet. And to come out and say, hey, guys, we're going to be creating art using AI. Like, okay, it is a level of tone deafness that you rarely see in this world. And to come from someone like Phil Spencer people used to look at Phil as like a champion of indie games, for example, right? Like Phil, these were back in the days when Xbox was trying to claw their way back up to the top after the absolute debacle of the Xbox One, right? Like, you know, Phil Spencer took over the Xbox division and made that brand relevant again, right? And he did this by courting things like Brenden. You probably know this better than any of us. He did this by courting indies, right? He did this by courting indie developers, getting indie games on that platform, focusing on putting player, you know, choice back in the hands of players as opposed to, you know, like look at Game Pass, right? Like Phil has brought all these innovations to Xbox, and to see where it's come now, you know, in a year where over 6,000 individuals have been laid off from this industry, to say, hey, this is a really good time to announce that we are partnering with an AI with AI. Like we're partnering with a company that develops AI to get some of the work done for us. And it's going to cost it's going to cut so many costs. Like, it's a level I honest to God have trouble wrapping my brain around it.
It's frustrating. I think Spencer is not
corporation's
quoted.
gonna corp.
Yeah, Spencer's not quoted in any of the articles I've seen about this subject, but like, it doesn't matter because it's his. Yeah, he. How does he not know and be involved? Right? Like, if he didn't, that would be quite surprising.
It's obviously very, like, you know, I've got we haven't talked about AI much on here. Like, I think I don't think it's controversial. Like, I'm not on Twitter anymore, so I don't know what the tone is, I guess, but I think you know, obviously, like, AI is very dangerous, especially to jobs, but I think it's been weaponized recently. I think that's where all the headlines have been coming from. Like, AI itself has been around forever, and AI itself is not inherently bad, right? The problem is companies have, there's been major breakthroughs recently, and companies have decided, oh, this is a great way, like Derek said, where we no longer have to pay employees, which fucking sucks. But like, there is genuine good applications of AI, like NVIDIA's DLSS technology, which is like absolutely incredible for game developers because it can help their games run better. It's all based on AI training on to basically predict the frames. But like the main one, like, because like I think the term gets thrown around a lot, like people need to understand mostly, I think when we're upset, we're talking about generative AI, right? Like AI creating content that is typically created by, like you said, artists or writers. And it's definitely dangerous. Like, I think I'm not surprised this is coming from Microsoft because, with ChatGPT, like Bing Chat was one of the first major ones to really jump on there.
That's a really good
and
point.
like,
Dude.
just to be frank, like working in the software industry and working very closely with Microsoft, I'm on an AI task force with our company. And like, I've been working with them on, like, I kind of like, you could see this coming to push it on Xbox. Like, I don't know if Phil really had a say. I guess I try to be optimistic because the world's too shitty if I'm not. I think I'm not really interested even what I think. I only care what developers think, what artists think, what writers think. In my head, I can see a space where this is additive rather than like displacement, where maybe games as we know them are developed the way they are, but now we've tried to have the fetch quest, the 1,000 fetch quests that no one cares about but does anyway. Right? Like maybe this could empower developers to focus more on the core content, the core quest, the core writers, and they could say, hey, for the people that want to spend 2,000 hours in this game, it's basically the same as procedural generation, right? And actually, like I talked about Starfield, we could talk about that. Like, there's like 1,000 planets in the game, and quite frankly, most of them are super boring because they're just procedurally generated. No jobs were lost in that. So, like, could AI populate those planets with content and random characters that otherwise the developers just simply didn't have the time to do, but wanted to put in there and couldn't put in there because of time constraints or technical limitations? That's my like glass half full, I guess. Like, I want to believe that no one will lose their jobs over this, that it simply is another tool in the hands of developers to say, hey, like, this is just open up a whole other option. Like, it's not going to replace the handcrafted writing and design and quests. But we can finally fill our worlds the way we want to. Realistically, with you guys, like, this probably fucking sucks. But I think there's two. Like, I don't think we only get the negative side of the coin. Like, I think it's important to point out that this stuff could be used well, but it's up to I think like governments to legislate it. I think it's up to companies to develop ethics and like standards on how it can be used, and just mostly like do the right thing and don't view it as a way to make people expendable, because they aren't. You can't fucking replace a person. You can't replace the way a person's brain works. So that's just my little take on it.
I want to get Brenden in here and toss him in here. Right? Brenden, we've been talking about how we think that AI is mostly like a net negative to the industry as it stands, as it's currently intended to be used. But do you think that there's an ethical place for AI in the industry?
I think I don't want to also be just like this sucks, which I do think it sucks, and I think that this being a focus in a very like open focus is not necessarily a bad thing. It's better that we know that they're making these types of things. It really is going to come down to, is the business side of things going to continue to use this as a business opportunity and not a opportunity to help creatives? And I think that there is a good application for AI for, on the creation side, being a tool for the creators, not to work against the creators or replace the creators. Like, there's plenty of applications or things that exist in applications that artists and creators use already that help them refine things, like Photoshop. Like, there's stuff that is already baked into there that, speeds up a process that would be tedious. It doesn't replace their work. It doesn't change what they're making. It just assists, stupid task and makes it more efficient. I think those are great applications of AI. I think it can help with, mundane things. I think I can help with accessibility for people who maybe want to create things and, need some sort of help doing that. But I think it becomes this. I don't think it can ever be regulated, ethically, morally, 100%, and it never will be. And with people making money off of it, it's going to always be this thing of we're going to eventually be, talking about who uses AI the most ethically. You know what I mean? And it's because everyone's going to have it and everyone's going to be using it to replace people and cut costs and do all that. Because at the end of the day, I mean, all these companies that they're looking at the bottom line. They're not, as much as someone like Phil wants to get on stage and say, hey, I'm here for the gamers. I'm here for you, or whatever it may be. I care about us, you, all these things. At the end of the day, he may care about you. He may actually feel those things, but he's running a business. You know what I mean? He's in charge of, a major corporations video game side. So,
and Brenden, you make a really, really interesting point that I want to kind of expound on there. Yes, especially Phil Spencer in the past has been like, we're for the gamers. We're on the side of the gamers, fuck the gamers. I need somebody to be on the side of people making the games.
Yeah.
That's what I want. That's what I need. That's what this industry fucking needs. 6,000 people being laid off in the gaming industry in less than a year is not normal. It's not, and the thing is, it's not like games are fucking floundering right now. Games in 2023 are more profitable than ever. 2023 has been a banner year for games. If you look at them in terms of quality and profit, 2023 has been a banner year. So why has that not translated to, why has that translated to 6,000 people being laid off? And the problem is that publishers are so fucking focused on making gamers happy that they're not focused on making the people who make those games happy. And
if I may,
please,
I don't even know that that's true, right? Because I look at things like there's this game called The Finals coming that recently kind of blew up amongst gaming Twitter because it was discovered that like the announcer and all voice work is AI. It's AI generated voices for all of the characters and for the announcer. And it sounds like dog shit, right? Like even in one of the best applications of it you can have, like people hear that it is AI and go, this sounds bad compared to even cheap voice acting, right? So I think talking about like these things being for the gamers, and maybe it's something that even gives me hope, right? Is the fact that by and large, when you talk to people who are not AI evangelists, and like, by the way, all the AI evangelists were just fucking like crypto and NFT evangelists not that long ago. So like, who gives a shit what these people have to think? But like actual people who want to engage with art, even on the shallowest levels, when you hit them with the AI voiced characters, they go, oh, that sounds bad. That sounds cheap. So, like, I think that this is really purely like an anti-worker thing, right? It's a way to save money, cut costs, cut out human creators at various levels of the process, right? Don't have to pay writers to write that extra dialogue. Don't have to write or don't have to pay voice actors to voice the lines. And there's a huge difference between that and, like Brenden was saying, where these AI tools can be used on behalf of various types of artists. I've seen examples of where, animators can use AI models to like generate the animation frames between keyframes, right? And save them a shitload of time. So they're still like modeling, rigging, like, posing out their keyframes, and oftentimes adjusting the animation, but then they can use AI to, give them a lot of that in between that they can then just tweak up. And for people who know what they're doing, that's a tool that can save them time to create something that is handcrafted. And
which is funny about that too is like that would speed up a creative's process and it would give them more time to tune up something else, make something else, or whatever it may be. And in turn, that does, theoretically also save the business money because it allows the creative to do other things or move on. But they they don't have to pay that AI healthcare. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's where they're fucking at. Like, that's
Yeah.
what it is, unfortunately. And AI is going to exist, and it's going to continue to become a bigger thing. And, you know, get like you're saying, it's, you know, we can tell when something's visually made with AI, voiced by AI, written by AI. At some point, that
It's
line
not
is going to
gonna
get harder to see.
It
And
will.
then, you know what I mean? Who's the person behind the scenes that's stepping in to stop, you know,
Yeah.
people who are making these things from going away permanently?
Well,
like that.
Nope, Britt, go.
That's my whole thing about it. Is it's like, you know, we're all sitting here, one, defending like writers and, you know, wanting them to have jobs at these news outlets. And then, but it's not the same with like these artists, right? Like there's artists that are losing their jobs. People are losing their jobs. And it's like, when does it end? Where's the cutoff? Like, you can't just be like, okay, we're only going to use art, like AI art for this. Like, if you're going to start using it already to make things, then like, where's the line? Eventually people just aren't going to be needed to produce things other than like maybe have a basic sketch, like, and that's it, you know? And I just, I don't know.
You sketch this shit, now feed it to the AI machine and it'll take it from there.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's shitty. Like,
what's really fucked up, Britt? What's really fucked up is I literally just now, when we're talking about this shit, I just came across this tweet talking about Jeff Katzenberg, who's the co-founder of DreamWorks, and he says AI will
Britt
cut
was
costs
referencing
in
that
animation
earlier.
movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I said earlier.
But this is the actual quote. In the good old days, you might need 500 artists in years to make a world-class animated movie. And I'm like, yeah, and in the shitty new fucking days, you're not going to need, you know, you can fire all your fucking people and put them on the bread lines and have a computer make the shit for you. In the good old days. In the good old days, we actually treated people like people. Like, what the fuck is that?
It's frustrating because it's like,
the good old
so many of these companies donate to like conservative Republican places that want to have jobs for, you know, the people in this country. And it's like, one, they're already outsourcing to other countries, and two, it's just frustrating when you have people with immense talent and they don't get to shine, right? It's the same thing with writers. Like, when they get laid off, it's like these people have great perspectives, you know. Summer Games Fest, what, you couldn't get in unless you were a journalist, and it's like, so many writers got their start from going to these events, and it's like, I just feel like being in this industry is getting harder and harder, and it's hard for me, at least, to accept that. Like, I don't accept AI whatsoever. I think it's stupid. Like, Disney just used it to do their opening for,
I know, Secret Invasion. I don't know if
Secret Invasion, and it looked like dick.
It
like,
looked
it
so
didn't
bad.
look good.
It looked like dog shit.
But they don't care, right? Like, they didn't have to pay anybody, and nobody's gonna watch the intro anyway. Like, and that sucks. Like,
when you reference Summer Games Fest, is that back when Jeff Keighley was beefing in my DM?
Yeah, it is. I didn't want to say anything, but yeah, that's what you got in trouble for.
Brenden, did you ever hear about that?
I saw what was out on the internet streets. I don't know.
Yeah, when I got angry DMs from Jeff Keighley, I want to know.
He treated you like your secretary.
I want to know this shit by 9 p.m. I'm like, suck my dick from the back, dude. Like, I don't fucking work for you. Like,
I think it's interesting timing because AI, you know, both of the strikes in Hollywood just recently ended, and AI was one of the cornerstones. So that was AI protections.
AI was the sticking point that kept the actors strike going as long as it did.
And good, you know what? Fucking good for them. But it's just, we keep talking about it. The games industry needs to keep unionizing because this is how they're going to be protected. I think this is the only way forward. And even it's not going to be 100%. Like, it still sucks. It's still going to be there, but you know, we got to fight tooth and nail, and that is one of the best tools that's going to be available to them. And hopefully, I mean, I think there's been some good strides. The good thing is, like, because this is all centered around, especially the topic was Microsoft bringing this to games.
Yeah,
Microsoft has promised to respect unions, and I think I don't know what their track record is like, a while ago, but like I think recently they've been kind of like, we're not. They don't seem super pro. Like, I guess as a company, they're ever going to be like excited about unions, but I think they've overall been respectful and like, especially with the Activision Blizzard acquisition.
They've needed to because they needed people on their side so they could buy Activision Blizzard, right? Like,
so hopefully that continues. But I guess that gives me a little bit of optimism. But yeah, we need more industry unionization because those protections in there is going to be how this, I guess, how the bleeding stops.
Yeah, and that was my whole thing is like I don't want there to be a double standard between writers and artists. Like I feel like everybody's job is valuable, and I feel like it would be like if Spencer said, I'm going to start using AI to fill in the gaps between like the big scenes in our book or this game, like it's just it's
Could you
scary.
use AI to like fix bugs and shit? Like,
not really. That's
No,
not really how
like-
it works. No.
Oh, look,
You can barely get people to fix bugs, man. Not as
my
complex
thing
as
is,
shit as these
They can
days.
deal with that garbage shit that nobody wants to do. Like that's fine.
But here's my thing though. If you start using it for any like smaller parts of any sort of creative task, then again, what's the point, right? The hard work is part of the process, right?
How can you pull yourself up by the bootstraps if you're
but it's true,
pulling the bootstraps up yourself?
But that's my thing. So it's like they're talking about how like during the Spider-Verse like production they were like using it for like certain bits of animation, and I'm like everyone's like, oh, this is a great way to use AI. And I'm like, I mean, is it any better than any?
I'm gonna pull up something from our Discord because I think it's like super relevant, and I know we're going on a little bit here on the topic.
This is the meaty topic though. So
yeah, very meaty.
Yeah.
Let's wrap it up soon and do the fun topic.
God, it's so meaty.
Like I basically think just someone said like it was mostly about the movies industry, but it might apply to games too. Is like I think a long time ago, a lot of the people in charge were creatives, right? And genuinely cared about the creative process. For all his faults, like someone like Walt Disney, but like even like in Hollywood, like a lot of them might have been actors at one point or directors or like writers. And now, and again, this is just I'm sorry, I don't remember who posted in the Discord, but it's like they're like like funding executives or VCs
venture capitalists or whatever,
investors. Yeah,
it's
like,
sales and marketing people, top to bottom,
right?
Like,
and they're interested in the bottom line, and I think that's one of the big differences in why we're seeing, because like it's always been interesting to me, like games and movies and television and stuff, and even music to an extent. It's like yes, like they're all created by people who are just passionate about recreating art, but like literally. Like Brenden said, like Xbox exists to make money. A company exists to make money. Phil Spencer's job, regardless of the image he projects, is to make Microsoft as successful and as profitable as possible in the games division. And he can work within that framework to try, his best to do it ethically. And I don't know him as a person, but like that's always going to be a battle with these creative businesses. Like the people down below are just making what they want to make, but you're always going to have the fight up top where everyone up there only sees the dollar signs, and I don't know what the answer is. It's just a fucking bummer.
Corporations gonna corp.
fuck.
Yep.
It's always
Capitalism
capitalism
bad.
when we get down to it. It's crazy how that goes.
Mhm.
So
All right, we've talked enough about AI. This shit's pissing me off. Derek, what's the fun topic?
we
What's
got
the fun
we got two
topic?
things to talk about, and I do think we have time for both because neither of them is like nearly as meaty. We will
But you
start.
have people with a lot of opinions.
Well, that's true. How about this? Let's save the secrecy thing for another time. Because CJ, that is a good idea, and I do want to bring that up. But it's also kind
I'm
of
too
it's
drunk.
kinda
I don't know
evergreen.
What the fuck you're talking about? What
So-
the
so we'll
no, I'm
talk.
not kidding.
It's okay. I got you, bud.
Derek just pulled CJ. I'm real happy for you, and I'm gonna let you do your topic later.
Yeah,
But this topic I'm about to talk about is the best
Yeah.
topic of all.
But-
It's too bad he's
but-
a Nazi now.
It really is.
Yep.
Fuck that guy.
Oh, Kanye. Okay, never mind. We were saying me for a
Link
minute. And I was
Legend of
like,
Zelda. Link
what?
for Legend of Zelda. Link is a Nazi.
I'm
Link.
not. Like, but
He's got blonde hair, blue eyes.
speaking of
Wake
Link,
up, sheeple.
speaking of Link, so let's this will be a fun one to just kind of bullshit about for a bit. Nintendo out of nowhere announces the live action Legend of Zelda movie
Yeah, that was kind of random, wasn't it?
Just middle of fucking, what was it? It was Wednesday, right? It's just like random Wednesday afternoon, like second tweet in a thread from Miyamoto on the main account. Just by the way,
I love how we opened it. It was like, this is Miyamoto.
Yeah.
What's up, bitches? It's me, Big M.
Just Kool-Aid Man. Just
thought only a couple people will get this, but I just thought of like the Thancred. This is Thancred.
Yeah. Oh my god.
But there's some. We only know a few details, but there is already a creative team picked out. So it's going to be from Sony Pictures, not another team up with Universal. It'll be co-produced by Miyamoto and Avi Arad of Spider-Man 3 fame.
And Venom.
What a great movie.
Sony.
Spider-Man
Just Sony
3 is
in
a
general.
good movie. Shut up.
And
I love Raimi, but
Shut the fuck up.
It's not Raimi's fault, man.
If we're gonna talk about Raimi, we got to talk about Doctor Strange. That was a.
I'm not opening up that can of worms.
It was a
great
piece
movie.
of shit.
I should never have said anything.
Yeah, you should have never said Sam Raimi. That was a mistake.
So Wes Ball is attached to direct, who directed the Maze Runner movies. He's directing the upcoming Planet of the Apes movie. The screenwriter.
What are the shitty movies he's done?
Because I know the Maze Runner movies.
Maze Runner,
I don't know. I didn't know Maze Runner was shitty, but I thought there was more than that.
We'll put asterisks on all of this, right? Because like there may be reasons to still have.
and it's written by Derek Connolly, who wrote I think Jurassic World. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. I was like, there's more shitty things attached to this.
Yeah, it's the writer. Derek Connolly did
love that
Jurassic World, Kong Skull Island, which isn't bad.
I like Jurassic World.
Yeah, Detective Pikachu.
No, you don't.
Detective Pikachu was good. I like that.
Detective Pikachu,
I hated
solid.
that movie.
But then like The Rise of Skywalker, like it's a pretty messy filmography so far, y'all.
You know what? I like all these movies.
The Rise of Skywalker? Look,
Jeff,
I'm not here to judge.
No, I am. Jeff, listen. We can't talk all about this AI generated shit, and you like the most fucking AI generated movie the last like fucking 10 years. What the fuck are you talking about?
Jeff love what he loves.
No, fucking Jeff, Jeff, get on your plane.
I hate The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, it's look. I've got
Justice for the Last Jedi.
People who people fighting about Star Wars on the internet has made me incapable of fighting about Star Wars in any media.
I don't give a shit about Star Wars anymore.
I can't fight anymore. I don't have that in me. But anyway, so it's like it's a collection of names and studios that like.
What serious director will do this fucking thing? Think about it.
I don't know, but like...
Here's my opinion, right? Like, I think they put this off to see how well Mario would do, and Mario did good, and it was a mid movie. It wasn't a bad movie. It was just mid, and they're like, all right, we could put some shit out and people will go see it regardless. Like... I think that's where Nintendo's at now.
Like Nintendo during the Wii U era.
Right, let's just fucking go.
My biggest hopes,
all in.
My biggest hopes is like, obviously, look, you hear Sony, Avi Arad, Maze Runner director, Jurassic World screenwriter, and you're like, oh god. I will say that there's like asterisks on all of this, right? Which is Avi Arad is very likely, very possibly going to be putting basically just a funding daddy, right? Like with Miyamoto involved, I can't imagine Miyamoto ceding creative ground to Avi Arad. And Avi Arad loves to just slap his name on shit these days and not make a lot of decisions. Like he produced Spider-Verse. And he didn't have
names don't mean that much. You remember like 10 or 15 years ago when J.J. Abrams' name was just on everything because he like had coffee with the director?
Steven Spielberg produced a billion movies that he didn't have anything to do with besides giving him some money.
And now movies are terrible. You know,
yeah. Wes Ball has only directed these Maze Runner movies, but like something about him made him good enough to be attached to this next Planet of the Apes movie because that's a pretty consistently good franchise. So like, is this a guy who got a raw deal? Stuck adapting like shitty YA fiction, you know, and now he's getting his actual chance. Maybe.
The apes thing has to be because Matt Reeves is busy. That has to be. There's no other reason. There's no other reason.
Yeah, but you could find other directors. Like if Westball sucks, then
you guys aren't understanding. Again, I think it's just one of those things where who else is going to do a fucking video game movie?
I do think a certain amount of it is availability. I agree with you.
What respectable director is going to look at Legend of Zelda?
I think Scorsese could do a great Kirby.
I want the fucking 4.5-hour Scorsese Zelda movie.
Here's the important part.
Robert De Niro is Ganondorf.
The only thing that matters.
But you're gonna get Robert De Niro in blackface.
The only thing that matters is that they cast Idris Elba as Ganondorf.
I mean, I hope it's good. That's the thing that would matter, I think, right? Like a good movie. Me personally, I like watching things that are good, regardless of who's casting John. So maybe let's our priorities a little bit straight there. You know what I'm saying?
Cast, fuck you, first of all. Second, cast Idris Elba as Ganondorf, cast Hunter Schafer as Zelda, and I don't know who the fuck you cast as Link.
Cast Louis C.K. as Tingle. Cast Louis C.K. as Tingle. Cast Tingle. Look, this is gonna be his retribution rehabilitation project. He's gonna be the best Tingle in the entire
Woody
world.
Allen directing, right? No, you're onto something.
It's got to be what for
no answer will be better than mine, John.
Oh, Hunter Schafer, 100%. I was just looking for her to.
Yeah, Hunter Schafer's got to be Zelda.
For those who don't know what we're talking about, this is fucking Zelda. I don't give a shit. Look at this fucking beauty.
Yeah.
Oh, she's already Zelda. That's crazy. Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
She's got that's the perfect Zelda. I think for Tingle, you got
Dexter's sister in Dexter.
Tingle's gonna be fucking Chris Pratt. Are you kidding me?
Tingle's gonna be Chris Pratt. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get Danny DeVito as Tingle.
Oh my god, dude!
Oh my god, that would be amazing. Perfect.
That'd be fucking amazing. Who plays Impa? And what kind of Impa do we get? Do we get old Impa, or do we get young badass warrior Impa?
You get Gilf Impa is what you get.
It's cute that you think everyone's going to be in this movie, and then it's going to end up being
it's not
everyone was in the Mario movie. Think about it.
I think it's going to be a star-studded cast.
Yeah.
It's going to be an origin story where at the last bit of the movie is when Link finally puts on the green tunic.
No, dude, we can't surf Dracula this shit. You know what I mean?
For Impa, it's got to be
for 2 hours.
For Impa, it's got to be Helen Mirren.
I'm a simp for Anya Taylor-Joy, and I think she'd be fine as Zelda.
It's got to be
native Argentinian queen.
That would be the most powerful fucking woman ever if she got to play Princess Peach and Zelda.
Fellow POC queen.
Gambit, for sure. The Queen Gambit, she is the queen.
Jesse in chat has a really good suggestion for Impa. What about Laura Dern?
I'm on board.
Yeah.
Bro, okay, you guys, these are actors. They're not gonna do the fucking Zelda movie. They don't know what the fuck Zelda is. What are you talking?
Will.
She's working with fucking
David. Give these people a paycheck. If you give these people a paycheck, they'll show up.
Simp. Let's hear it.
It's real. I don't give a shit about this. Okay, here's the thing. One, I don't like Zelda at all. I don't fucking like the game.
Then why are you even?
That's my thing.
This is the best part, y'all.
Oh my god! I'm not gonna. First of all, I didn't watch the Mario movie because again, I am 20-something years old. I watched Sonic for different reasons because I was invited.
You watch Sonic because you're autistic, like I am.
And this all makes sense.
All right, look, what if I love Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within? Okay, it's artistic.
That's different. No, okay. Well, John, you can like it. It's not artistic at all.
Jesse makes a good point in the chat.
Yeah. I hate that fucking movie. What's that?
Jesse Vitelli's making some good points in the chat.
Have Laura Dern play everyone.
We can do a being John Malkovich.
Yeah, fucking sure, right? Man. Elliot Gould will play. Will play fucking the Zelda's dad. Sure, why not? Let's just throw actual people in this fucking movie. They'll get the corpse of George Segal somewhere in there. Pacino's gonna be fucking. I don't.
What are the odds?
Do you think that some of the cast of the Mario movie are not respectable actors? Because I think that.
But I'm talking. Okay, but
Seth Green.
Laura Dern.
Seth Green,
who's worked with Lynch, who's worked with. Do you know what I'm saying?
She was in Star Wars.
Yeah, that's different.
If she showed up for a Star Wars paycheck, she'll show up for a Nintendo paycheck.
I think you're underestimating.
CJ, she did Jurassic World Dominion, man.
That's way different.
I mean, dude, they got Jesse. Go ahead.
Go.
You mean Brenden? You're reading Jesse's posts in the chat.
Brenden, go ahead.
Wow, the
Well, first
disrespect.
I'll throw out Elliot Page for Link. That's my throw in there.
I can
for
fuck
Link.
with that.
Ooh,
I can fuck
that's
with
a
that.
good one.
with
That's
that.
really good.
It's gonna be Chalamet.
that.
It's gonna be Chalamet.
I was gonna say, dude, what are the odds that Timothy fucking Chalamet gets cast?
Timmy
as
C is
Link?
gonna come in and he's gonna
Timmy
be like,
Chalamet is Tingle.
look, Timmy C. Oh my God,
Sickly Tingle.
You know,
Let's
Tom
go.
Holland as Link.
Ugh.
Yeah, as
I didn't say I wanted it.
Anori in the
like-
chat pointed out, fucking Dennis Hopper and Bob Hoskins were in the first Mario movie. Like,
Yes,
sometimes you
that's
just pay
literally what I
people
was
money
gonna say.
and they
That's
show
what I was
up.
gonna say. Like they got fucking Bob Hoskins to play Mario. Like they can get people to play fucking Zelda.
Well,
to be-
Bob Hoskins wasn't aware
and he-
of what the fuck Mario
he
was.
was-
That's
he
why
nearly
you guys
died
don't
of liver
understand.
failure.
Understand, though.
Got him.
You have to understand that, like, it's one thing for an animated movie. This is a live action film, and I think that like there are definitely enough, you know, in your words, real actors that would say, yeah, I absolutely want to be in a fucking Zelda movie.
I feel like Zelda has a more prestige
The
attached to the
pedigree.
name in
The
the cultural consciousness. Like Mario is huge, but Mario is Mickey Mouse, right?
Yes.
Zelda, like if you don't know
Oh, God.
shit about video games, you know Zelda, and you know Zelda is this thing that is supposed to be important in a very different way than the way Mario is important. So like,
Yeah, Zelda
I
Will-
do
Zelda
think Zelda
Williams
could
has to be
draw
in there
some
somewhere,
talent.
for sure. Somebody in chat. said Zelda
I have
Williams
a
gotta be in there.
question. What like Zelda universe do you think it's gonna take place in?
I think it'll be
Probably
original.
the original. Yeah,
I think
original.
it'll be something new. I think it's
The
gonna be.
No, is it no? Well, I think what.
So
Britt's
you're
asking,
telling
like,
me there's gonna be no fucking Nibiru?
So hold
What
on
a
minute.
fucking
Wait.
waste.
No, Britt is raising
What a
really good point.
waste.
Like, is this going to be like the Hero of Time? Is this going to be like fucking Skyward Sword era Zelda? Like what are we talking about here?
No, it's gonna be the easiest. What's
It's
the
just gonna
easiest
be like
Zelda
a
to understand?
new thing. It's not gonna be.
Little green dude.
You're not gonna
fights
get
someone.
That's what
Ocarina
I'm
of
saying.
Time,
Like,
like-
where do you think they're gonna pull characters from?
Oh,
Because I would
Ocarina.
say, yeah, I was gonna say arguably.
I think they'll
like,
pull
I
a
think
lot of-
Ocarina's the most.
They'll pull from that heavily. I
Like
think.
Ganondorf will be because it's like you can't put Ganon in a movie. You can't.
He
explain
better
Ganon
have
in
that
a movie.
Vegeta Widow's Peak though. He
Yeah,
better.
I think
You
the
guys-
characters from like kind of every thing, but
Yeah.
I think the movie's tone will probably like closely.
The Mario
match.
movie. What did it pull
Ocarina,
from
or just
as far as like
Legend of
mainline
Zelda.
Mario
Yeah.
games? Like, what did it pull from? That's what I'm wondering. What did the Mario
It
movie
would
pull
be.
from?
It would be really cool if they stuck to their Zelda timeline and did movies like kind of like mishmash of like those things together in that timeline, like the convoluted timeline that Zelda has.
Yeah.
That's not as
What-
convoluted as Kingdom
what I will
Hearts.
say is you
Hopefully
guys
Cam's not
know-
here.
Britt, you guys
You
know
sounded
that this movie is going to have heavy Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom influences.
I'm sure it will. I mean, somebody pointed out that those two games have sold like almost as much as every other Zelda game combined. Like I mean, it's you cannot avoid the Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom.
What I want to know is
era.
where's my fucking Metroid movie starring Brie Larson and Samus Aran?
Yeah,
Like,
give me that.
What the fuck is
I'll
that?
take that.
Give me,
I will
give me
say,
Bob Odenkirk as Link.
Since all of y'all have already
No,
cast,
Bob Odenkirk is Navi. Hey,
since all of
Blake,
y'all have cast
listen.
Impa like 17 times,
Yes.
give me Pura
Man of substance, yes.
as, and now I just forgot her name.
Son of a bitch. What's she
Here,
from?
No, Brendan, I got one for you. I got one for you.
No, let him finish. Let him cook. Hold on.
Oh my goodness.
He had the
Just
bravery to bring
explain her.
Pura up. So
Explain
my
her.
girl. It's my girl. Oh my god. Parks and
Midna?
Rec. No.
Aubrey Plaza.
Plaza,
Latina-
yes.
Oh,
Latina
Oh my
movie.
god, love Aubrey Plaza.
Oh, so
You
hold
can't
on.
do that to the
hold on,
internet.
guys.
I was
I've
gonna
only
say
played an
Kat
hour
Dennings.
of Tears of the Kingdom, and I fully endorse anything dealing with this woman. 100%.
She's
I mean,
incredible.
Brendan, I think that's
What?
a great choice. I was going to say Kat Dennings, but I think Aubrey Plaza is a great choice.
Wow, John, want to take jobs away from
I
minorities?
could see Kat Dennings too. I mean, whatever. We got a whole village to fill
Yeah.
up with Chica. There we go. I mean, what are we doing?
yeah.
Who's playing
We're gonna-
Epona?
Oh man, Epona's gonna be. Let's see, what respected actor will get green screen to the fucking horse?
Got to be Andy
Oh.
Serkis, right?
Jim Carrey will come back for it.
Tim Curry was in a Zelda movie. Technically, he was a legend.
Whoever's playing Link is just going to be riding around.
He's
Andy
already been
Serkis
in the
with
Rhino.
I think
and
we're all forgetting
freaking-
Epona's a girl, y'all. So the
And
real question is who's gonna play Malin and then who's gonna be Epona?
Oh, Rar, good question. Who's going to be Beetle?
Richard Kind as Beetle. Let's fucking go.
oh hell yeah, hell yeah.
Bruce! Oh my god, he's the best character in the whole fucking franchise. No,
Bruce
like
has got to
we
be
gotta
Brandon
talk
Roos,
about
right?
Bruce. So good.
Bruce
Brandon's not doing any movies. He's on TV now.
Brandon Bruce is in movies.
Bring Brandon Routh back to be Groose, but also don't cover up his bulge with CGI this time. Let Groose fucking hang dong.
And
There's a character I was gonna bring up.
Wasn't there stuff problematic with him that came out recently?
I don't think
Scarlett
so.
Johansson is Ganondorf.
Nope. We're not doing that.
Look, Idris Elba is the choice for Ganondorf, dude. I don't care. Like,
my biggest worry is that they're gonna cast like The Rock as Ganondorf, and it's gonna fucking kill me.
I
That's the
can't.
greatest thing in the
Yeah.
world.
So
And then
bad.
Ganondorf's gonna turn to the camera and be like,
Fucking Channing Tatum.
I want the tone of this to be completely wrong. I want them to like think, man, the Mario movie did great. Like we're gonna copy that exact
John
same style.
Cena?
Fucking
Oh god,
be
he's
like,
got
if
so
you
many
smell
of
what
those.
Ganondorf is cooking, like
Jason Momoa as Ganondorf.
Link doesn't talk, and then at the end he's be like, finally I can get a word. You know what I'm saying?
Jason Momoa is Hollywood's solution to let's put a white passing fucking celebrity in here that's indigenous and call it good. That's our fucking.
I actually would not hate Jason Momoa as Ganondorf, although I think
I would,
my
but
choice
different
is still
reasons.
my choice is still fucking
Look, I mean, here's the thing, right? Is like this is so fun to just like, and that's why the internet has lost its mind over the last day and some change, because this is so funny to talk about. I think my greatest fear, everyone's greatest fear, is that this turns out to be mid, right?
It's gotta be mid.
Because
Are
if
you
this is dog shit, it is still
gonna
funny.
make money. That's what I was saying earlier.
here's
It
my
doesn't
thing.
matter. They could fucking do Link just running circles and everybody would fucking love it.
That's basically what Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom is. But like, what's
Exactly.
the best like video game movie? Like, what's genuinely the absolute best video game movie out now? Okay, that's different. No, shut the fuck up.
That's
What'd
the
you
best.
say?
It's not based on the game. It's not based on the game. You know what I mean?
Most
You
of
know,
the good game adaptations have been series, right? I mean, like
No, but I'm talking about movies.
that's series, right?
A movie.
Are you
Give me a
so
movie.
beholden to this fact though, like that video game movies are not good? Because
No. It's not a good. It's not a thing that's good or bad. But I'm saying it's
at
like
a point, comic book movies were not. They were not good. You know
But
what I
it's
mean?
like-
Like,
And I'm with Jesse. Like Detective Pikachu was solid. Like,
But that's what I'm saying. Solid. You get what I'm saying?
sure.
I love.
you're saying there's just never going to be a good
I don't
video
think-
game movie.
The problem with video games is that most of them already rip off movies, right? Like they're like what Zelda is like a lot closer to something like
that.
That's the thing. But it's like they couldn't do an Assassin's Creed movie. It's basically The Matrix, but worse.
They already
They
did.
couldn't do. That's the
I mean,
thing.
they
It
did
sucked.
do
They did do an
And it
Assassin's
sucked.
Creed movie.
It was
Well,
great.
they did an
my first-
Uncharted movie, which was like based on like Indiana Jones and like Pulp Adventure. Like,
My second date with Christine was to go see the Assassin's Creed movie. Like that set the precedent
Oof.
for a.
How are y'all still together? I mean, look, I am always on team like let them try to cook and let's see what they come up with, right? Because the worst thing that can happen is it's bad, like, and then it's just a bad movie and we move on, you know? Like,
I'll be honest with you. Like I think I'm with Brendan. I'm with Brendan on this one. Like I think Legend of Zelda has a chance to be. It's going to be high fantasy. People love high fantasy.
nobody wants to make high fantasy shit anymore, though. It's like
My
it's all
problem-
gritty, low fantasy. And
My problem is it's Nintendo, and I don't think it's the movie will be unsuccessful or bad, because of the actors or writers, whatever. I think it's just Nintendo being greedy. Like
He's not going to write it off
what
yet. I'm
not writing it off. Absolutely not. No, but my worry is that Nintendo's going to be fucking greedy and just want to push something out that's half-assed.
we are all going to kill each other over this movie before it's even out.
I
don't have any strong feelings either way.
Like we all kind of figured this was coming. I was not expecting it to be live action. I'll be honest with you. Like I was expecting this to be animated.
I guess it's the only way they could sell. You know what I'm saying? They could sell like, all right, we're gonna do like a big fantasy thing, right? Like it's the only way. It would be cool if they're. You know what I'm saying? I think Mario's easier to do animated because you can't. Italians don't exist. You can't get them in real life, so you have to animate them somehow. No, I'm kidding. But it's like that can only work in animate, right? That can only work in animation, right? Like that truly. You know what I'm saying? Chris Pratt can only be Mario in an animated film. It's a lot easier to kind of like get like some like young looking, like, you know what I'm saying, some twink to play fucking Link in like in live action. You know what I'm saying? And so I think it's the only way they can sell this movie. Who's gonna go show up for a non-Ghibli animated fantasy movie? You know what I'm saying? It's a lot harder of a sell.
Yeah. I was like,
That's
I
a lot
would,
harder.
but like,
I don't think, I still think you're very incorrect here.
Yeah.
Like
But,
the
like,
easy way out would have been for them to just have Illumination make a Zelda
Yeah.
movie. Like
that's
the
what we
easy
were
way out.
always
easy
so
way out,
sure
for
was going to
sure.
happen.
But that's also still gonna do gangbusters. Like it's again, it's Nintendo and it is Zelda, and Illumination is not like some random
Right.
studio, you know what I mean? Like I have hope for this. I don't think this is gonna be something amazing. I would love if it was. I love Zelda. But the difference here is that you're going from Mario movie, which is Mickey Mouse, slam dunk, animated, bare minimum, kids go see it, families go see it, adults who played Nintendo when they were a kid don't play games now are going to go see it with their kids or see it or whatever. Slam dunk, it's going to make money.
Mm-hmm.
This is live action. It will probably have at least a few big name actors attached to it because maybe they do get some, younger actors, no name actors to play Link or Zelda or somebody, which I don't think would be a bad idea either. But you have this director who, if I'm this guy and I want to attach my name to not only Nintendo Project, Legend of Zelda live action film, I'm looking at this like, yeah, this can just be a big paycheck. This movie will probably do well, whatever. But I'm looking at this and I'm saying, I can make the next fucking Lord of the Rings. Like I could make a series of movie. You know what I mean? Like this could be that thing. So I would be putting, I don't know this director, but I would be putting fucking everything into that because you could be that thing. Like this could be, another Lord of the Rings or something on that scale.
Well,
it has the money.
I don't know if we addressed it, but Rar dropped the tweet in chat from Wes from January of 2010. Where he said, like, I would never even have the hope to direct it, but the next big movie should be The Legend of Zelda. Like,
oh yeah.
So it's talk about like it seems like there's some passion there beyond just the paycheck too, which is
hopeful. It's hopeful.
Yeah, Anorand addressed it in chat too, right? Like, it goes both ways with video game movies. Like, you can be too respectful of the source material, or you can also be too disrespectful and not understand why people fell in love with it in the first place. And I think the best ones kind of land in the middle where they recognize the core parts about the spirit of the game that work, but understand that film is a different medium and like things need to change and you don't just need to remake it one to one. So, and I think like that comes from caring about the property a little bit too, helps with that. So
I think one thing we can all agree on is that the music is going to be fucking incredible.
Hell fucking yeah.
Oh yeah.
The sound, like if nothing else, the OST is going to be.
Yeah, that was solid.
Who are they going to compose this? That's what I'm saying.
Like, that'll be important, but I imagine
like Tyler Bates doing the
I imagine that'll be a high priority to get the music right? And like this isn't Illumination anymore, right? We don't have to worry about them taking out incredible rearranged pieces and replacing them with Take On Me. So like I feel
I would love actually that
because if you think about Sony as a film publisher, right, as a publishing house, Sony's big problem is actually kind of the lack of guidance that comes out of Sony. Like they don't know consistently. Sony seems to not know what the fuck it's doing, and its best hits happen like because good creatives got hold of something.
Equalizer, baby.
That like Sony did not step in to fuck up. And Miyamoto, I just truly cannot see Miyamoto allowing Sony to make the kind of demands that they used to make of filmmakers that made films for them. I cannot see him ceding ground to somebody like Avi Arad if there's like a truly bonkers creative choice that Miyamoto's like, no, fuck this. I'm not saying Miyamoto's like a perfect creator who can't make mistakes, but
I mean,
if he wants to be heavily involved, then that's a good sign, and he's probably going to be a bulwark against a lot of the worst things we've come to expect from Sony Pictures. So.
Well, and like Rar made a good point in chat. Like Miyamoto is not going to greenlight dog shit. Like this is Zelda, right? What all I'll say is I hope the movie ends with What I've Done by Nickelback.
John, what? Shut the fuck up.
Wrap up the show. That's it.
That's
what
it.
we're
done for tonight.
That's all I'm saying. All right, we'll go and wrap it up here. Brenden, dude, thank you so much for joining us tonight, man. This was a real treat to have you on.
Yeah.
It was a good, fun, lively, energetic show.
It was a good, like, serious and then a good silly.
Yeah, you had a nice bouncy chat. I like it. Brenden, where can people find you on the bullshit website?
You can definitely not find me talking or playing Kingdom Hearts. Sorry, Cam.
Wow.
You can find me.
He just dropped what he was doing again, and his pupils dilated.
He's gonna send me. He's gonna text me in a second, I'm sure. You can find me at bgroom, BEGROOM. I'm that on everything. So that's the easiest way to find me. See what I'm doing. You can look for Path to Controller on everything. Just Google it, you'll find it. Website,
good
podcast. I do a lot of drink pairings now. That's like my new kind of thing this year. I make cocktails to pair with games. Working on some stuff behind the scenes with
That's
that too.
really cool.
Yeah.
So,
So
as somebody who was a bartender for 4 years, Brenden, we need to collab.
I'm down. I before my current day job, and I worked in restaurants for like 12 years. I bartended for a long time, so I don't miss that life, but I do miss making good drinks. So that's the worst work-life balance in the world. It's the most valuable experience I think a human can have, or one of the most valuable. Just like learning to deal with people in that way. Anyways, this is a different conversation for a different show. I don't know. You can find me on those ways or don't. I don't care either way. It was a pleasure to be here. I'm very happy. It's finally
it was fucking amazing to have you on. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Come back soon.
It was amazing to have me on too, Britt. I know.
Shut the fuck up, John.
We, of course, we are recording a nice little interview with Dave Jones, the voice actor for Halson from Baldur's Gate 3 this Saturday, which we will have posted.
That'll be part of next week's live show, I believe.
Okay, yeah.
We'll just do that like we did with, unless it's like a super busy news week, we'll just do it like we did with Samantha Bayart.
I like that. That's a really good idea.
You just cursed it, Derek, and something insane is going to happen next week.
I'll post
Switch 2 gets announced next week.
The Switch 2 drops next week.
It's Shadow drops. But no, hey, we're looking forward to that. So either way, it'll be a fun podcast next week. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight. If you're in chat, you're not in our Discord community, there's a link right there in chat, and you can also help us out via Patreon because we are getting back on the convention circuit with PAX East next year. So we are really excited about
capital C content.
Creating all kinds of content. Derek's going to bring whiskey to discreetly pour for everyone at the Weston Bar. Like it's going to be
you know what? That's how we get people to interview with us. They don't actually want to talk to us. Derek just offers them alcohol.
Derek just offers some drinks. All right, everyone. If nobody's got anything else, thank you so much for tuning in. We greatly appreciate it and your support and you in general. Guys, kindness costs nothing. We'll see you next week.